and welcome everyone to the first episode of the Change Officer Special Series STEP Conference. We are here with Srinu from BitOasis, and man, we're breaking the ice with the first episode, and I'm really happy that it's you.
Thank you so much, and thanks for all the listeners who was joining the session.
Yeah, I think they're in for a treat now. They're going to get a couple of valuable insights from you. Obviously, as a VP of Marketing and Growth for BitOasis, you must be living a very exciting life these days. And for 99% of other people who are not aware of, the whole market, crypto and NFTs and everything that is going on, I think it's going to be interesting for them to hear from someone like you about it.
Sure.
But before that, you just wrapped up your first session with STEP. What's your impression overall? How does it look? Vibe, people?
Wow, I mean, this is such a lively environment and so unlike typical other conferences that I've been through. I mean, last year I was doing conferences almost every day.
Yeah.
So I was talking at quite a lot of events. They were a bit more organized, a bit more structured. I'm not saying STEP conference is not. It is super organized, but in a very charmful way. So
yeah.
So it's very nice. And the session also, it went quite well. And listening to other speakers on the panel, it kind of gives a perspective of even our other competitors as well, right? So it's always nice. There are quite a lot of interesting insights also I gathered through the session as well. So yeah, super involving and super exciting as well. And everyone's pretty much at the startup stage, so you can share a lot of viewpoints quite easily and connect with others.
Yeah, it's always great to surround yourself with similar-minded people, especially because there is a special focus to crypto this year, right?
Yeah.
Which wasn't the case before, because last year nobody knew about crypto.
And so, I'm glad we've covered that session this week.
Yeah. How does it feel to lead marketing and growth, which is by default a very exciting role, but having that role in a company that is rapidly growing in the industry that is exploding?
Yeah. So in simple terms, it's overwhelming. In the sense that it's exciting. At the same time, we had to move super fast, right? Luckily, this is not my first time, so I have headed the growth and marketing for Luno in my previous role back in London. So I built the entire marketing team there, but the scale and the team size, what we are talking at BitOasis, is quite massive as compared to other roles that I've headed, right? So as soon as I joined, one of the first things I've done is build a team structure, and I presented to Ola, the CEO, and I said if we need to grow super massive in the region, we need to have a massive marketing team, right? And so I was the first marketing person when I joined almost 8 months ago. And within 4 months, I built a marketing team of 28 people now.
So there's 28 full members of marketing team working day and night to position you out there and compete with these monsters who are surrounding you around the globe.
Yes, and so when we started, I used to have relatively more time with the team. But these days it's okay, to the point, speak and close the conversation, move on to the next thing. So it's
no more chit chat.
No more chit chat, unfortunately. But we do take time out every now and then, and usually Friday second off to spend time with bonding with the team a bit more. We go out usually on the weekends and stuff.
Yeah.
But man, it's insane. It's incredibly fast. And to give you an example of how things move so fast, we run experiments and we do try and test a lot of things. Just for example, influencers, we close on influencers and we execute on things in a matter of days, right? Within 2 to 3 days. It's super rapid, right? Traditionally in other ecosystem, it takes 2 weeks on an average.
Negotiations and all
that, right? So for us, it's bam, 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 go. And in order to do that, we have given a lot of power of authority for individual team members, even at a junior level as well, right?
Yeah.
Which is typically in other standard marketing team outside is, the decision making is at marketing lead or department, all that. So we had to decentralize a lot of decision making as well.
I don't think there is no other way.
Yeah.
There is no other way.
Yes.
I think you are absolutely the best person to talk to out of all of the lined up guests for these 2 days about crypto and NFT. So I have one question. I was always wondering, do I need, if I'm buying Bitcoin, do I need to buy the whole Bitcoin or I can buy a part of it?
So this is quite interesting actually. And when I got into the crypto almost 6 years ago, I thought I was too late, but now in the hindsight I feel I was quite early on. when the Bitcoin price was just about $1,800 back in the day. Binance Coin was just like $4 or something. So now it's like $450.
I hope you bought a bunch.
I did buy a bunch and I never sold it. So I was like a long-term hodler, but I think in hindsight it's all good in that sense. Right?
Ching, ching, ching.
Yeah. So no, you don't need to. So like it's a very common misconception that you need to buy whole Bitcoin. So Bitcoin in itself has a denominator of currency called satoshis.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy as less as $20 or 50 dirhams or any of the local currency you want to, right? And you can buy as much as almost like price of Bitcoin, which is about like $40,000 for example. But yeah, you can always start like invest even in small amounts even during the different phases of your investment time frame. Usually I suggest when the price drops massively, go
That's
in a bit
time
aggressively, and when the price accumulates like over a period of time, you need to kind of like obviously take out your profit slowly but still have a skin in the game.
Is it the time to buy crypto now when it's still around 4? We had 60 at one point, right? Now we're around 40. Do you believe that we are going to reach the price of 240 that JP Morgan Chase or who?
There are quite a lot of big brains who came up with different statements throughout different point in time. JP Morgan at one time called Bitcoin as like let's say scam or it's not reliable sort of crypto. And then like it's very interesting to see how all these like big banking platforms and all like turn around and now they have started like doubling on their the crypto statements. But being an early adopter, we've seen through that entire like change in statements and like evolution and everything. I would say that it's always a good time to buy Bitcoin, right? Or other high growth or trusted crypto tokens, right? Reason is being, when the price goes down, obviously it's good time to enter because then like you are getting early on and the price increases. When the price increases as well, you are accumulating more wealth in that sense if you have invested a bit more. So like if you invest into crypto, like think of it as a long-term thing, as gold, right? Don't get into the crypto game because you want to make some quick profits and then get out of it, because the fact is you can never time the market, right? So the only thing you can do is like try and like play around in such a way that you kind of take profits where it's possible and like enter with more bigger let's say budgets or your financial wealth when the price goes down massively. It's easier said than done. So one of the strategies that I follow is dollar cost average, where I invest like fixed amount of money every month, irrespective of the price of the market. But when I also use my common sense, when the price goes down a bit more, like I try and double down.
You top it up a bit.
Yeah, you top it a bit. But I am a long-term hodler, right? So
sure.
I just invest and forget about it, and it has played very well for me. If you want to get into the other aspect of trading, which a lot of people are like putting on Twitter and everywhere else, you need to be very careful, right? Like
that's daily stuff, right?
That's the daily stuff. People quit their daytime jobs to get into trading as well, but that's also can be a mistake because you need to understand how trading works and technical analysis and all that. If you have time, go and do that, but do it with we call it paper money, which is like a virtual money, which is like not a real money. Try your hands, test different strategies, see what's working, and once you are comfortable, then you put your actual money into it.
I had a lot of fun. I think it was eToro app or something similar where they gave me like $100,000 of virtual money. And play with it, lost a bunch, and I was like, not today. Not today.
So that's a very interesting feature by eToro. So yeah, I would recommend all the listeners to try that out. We are also planning to like roll that out, but obviously with crypto platform, we don't want to like stay anywhere close to like paper currency and all that. So we need to do it in a very balanced way, though.
Makes sense. All right, next topic. Very briefly, we don't have much time. Yeah. I know it's a high-level question. NFTs. Your thoughts?
So NFTs. So the first thing that comes to thought, like when you say NFT is art, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, it's not. It's everything that is not fungible, right? It's like so if you have like UAE currency, dirhams or dollars, right? You can break them into smaller chunks and you can give it to everyone and like you can like trade and exchange, right? So those are fungible tokens. Non-fungible is completely opposite of money, right? Where every asset is unique in its sense. It can be currency, it can be T-shirt, it can be house, it can be any of the assets that are like quite unique. And you can put that on blockchain. So that's the fundamental fact of it, right?
Sure.
Art is obviously like quite unique in that sense. So it has like a faster adoption. My personal opinion is that industry is going a bit more on the hype side, rather than like more on utility aspect. So I do get into NFTs on the aspects where there's like a lot more utility, like real estate, where I can see, how this is unique and digital, and where people, they're like, in fact, there's one local project in UAE itself. What it is trying to do is like get all the investors to own a piece of like real estate. Like you can say everyone's pooling in together to get that real estate, and then returns or the profits is shared back to all these people, right? However, that in itself is NFT, right? So yeah, my personal opinion is it's still a bit more on the hype side. So if you are investing into NFT, don't just look at digital art, look at multiple other aspects as well, and don't get into it just for the sake of like hype around it, but try and like do your own research a little bit.
As in investing in anything else.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, the change officer. What we are trying to answer with this podcast is, everyone says, and like the change is the only constant, which is true. If that's true, what is the next change ahead? Because if we can answer that question today, and we know what's the big change that will happen in 2030, there is a lot of things we can do about it, like buy a bunch of Bitcoin. All right. So, do you have any predictions for the big change that will happen in the coming years that will open up great new opportunities? So, all of these listeners can pay attention to.
Sure. So fintech, I mean, one of the biggest topics in STEP conference, right? So it's going to go explode massively, right? Historically, when you look at like fintechs, it was mostly like stocks or other traditional investment like golds and stock, bonds and other ones, right? Like, but now with whole new generation who are coming in, fintech is completely kind of become more sexy and fun if you look at it. But within one of the tranches of fintech is crypto in itself, right? But there are like multiple other fintech aspects, like newer banks that are coming massively. The fact that you don't even need to have a bank, local bank, physical bank, right, to open a bank account, right? These things are changing the the fintech adoption massively in the region. Personally, I still believe massively on the crypto and the narrative of entire blockchain and how it's going to impact every aspect of our lives. We are seeing some of those aspects coming in already. For example, if you have to get, let's say, a loan, right? Let's talk about like $100,000.
Right.
If you need to get $100,000 loan with a traditional banking system, you need to get your like whole bunch of documents, wait for 2 weeks, and you're mercy of a banker who's gonna approve it, right?
Who doesn't understand you, your pain.
Yeah. So and all of us, we are like working our ass to pay that off. With crypto, if I tell you that you can get $100,000 in loan in less than 20 seconds. So that's possible with crypto, right? Thanks to the DeFi side of things. So there are like a lot of these very interesting narratives that's kicking in, like GameFi, right? Picking up massively, like Axie Infinity. People are leaving their full-time job to work on play this game to make their living, right? Quite interesting and cool if you think about it, right?
Amazing.
Yeah, like metaverse, NFTs, and all of these things are picking up. But asking me like how would the ecosystem would develop like by 2030, it's like asking me a question, how would internet be adopted back in 1999, right?
Sure.
No one know its true potential. At that time I would just say with internet in 1999 you can just send emails faster, right? Or a physical mail faster.
If you go back and say, okay, it's not 2030 because that's true, it's really far away, 2025, so near future, something that's it's still not really around us. People are not aware of it. Maybe 0.1% of people. Is there anything like that you are putting your bets on, or really keeping an eye on and waiting for something to happen?
So, I would strongly recommend still look at the evolutions that's happening within the crypto space. 2 years ago, crypto means Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the big tokens, right? Now, there are like so many other tokens with different narratives in itself, like Solana, Cardano, Cardano, doing all these big changes in Africa, Waves, and all these platforms, right? They are having some real world use cases as well, right? So I would say, and it's also having a massive multiplier effect in your wealth. So if you get into these crypto tokens like quite early on, after 2 years, 3 years, you can easily see a gains of like 10x to 15x, right? Which is quite massive in that sense. So I would say that look out for DeFi. It's gonna explode even further, and also like NFTs a little bit. But yeah, like GameFi, it's gonna explode massively as well. So by 2025, you would see. Imagine like Pokemon, right? Like 5 years ago, when there was like entire Pokemon saga, you can see like there was almost 2 billion downloads for the app.
That was just ridiculous.
Insane, right? So the true potential, like at that time, imagine if Pokemon had an option for you to own some very unique Pokemon characters at a certain price. That would have sold for $5 million easily, each of the characters, right? Now, fast forward now, like, I mean, they lost it, but like fast forward now, like the next Pokemon game, if they already have these options now. So imagine the amount of wealth they're going to make from it.
Crazy,
so, yeah.
Crazy. Okay, we don't have much time more. I want to talk metaverse, but I'm going to wrap up with a couple of just random funny questions.
Sure.
If you could choose any character from a movie or a TV show or cartoon to be your co-founder in the next startup, which one would it be?
Okay, that's a very interesting. So in Looney Tunes, there's a character. I don't know the name of the pet, but there's this dog who pretty much like hogs everything that comes its way, like trees and like plants and food. Like there's this. We use it on our Tezo cards actually. Like along with Bugs Bunny, there's another dog which eats like unlimited, right? And I like this narrative because Y Combinator, when Airbnb launched their they were under the program. Y Combinator has this habit of naming all the founders with different characters, and one of the characters that was assigned to the CEO of Airbnb was this character. So, and I love the narrative because he just sucks everything and
every
hungry
opportunity.
for learning. Yes, so super hungry for learning all the time. So I want someone, my co-founder, to be like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Srinu, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you on. We have to do a longer version of the Change Officer podcast in our studio and talk more.
Awesome.
For now, I'm going to let you continue with your journey around the conference. And look, guys, stay tuned. There is another episode coming really, really shortly with some more amazing guests, and hope to see you around. Thanks, Srinu, again.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. Thank you so much for having me.